you are okay with me recording this, and if I do any editing, it's just going to be shorten it. It's not going to be to take anything out of context. You're cool with that if I do post it?
Yeah. And that's what I think happens with a lot of these popular dog trainers. At some point, they go online and they say, this person is awesome because they tried something that worked, that gave them very quick results, or they believed were quick results, and they had tried a million things before it. And now, even though they've only done this on one or maybe two dogs, they now believe this is the way to do things.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know about you when you first started to train, but, you know, even with me, there was a little bit of phase of that because I was training with at the time I had this dog that was highly problematic. And, you know, it was a hard road for that dog. And for that particular dog, in my heart, I truly believe that is the only thing that would have worked. But the problem with that is if you start believing that hard road is the way for all dogs, I think that's a very dark path, and I think a lot of people go down the dark path.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but that's true. You know, when I started working with dogs, it was working dogs. It was police dogs. That was my first exposure into the dog world. First dog training school I went to. First couple of jobs I got was with working dogs. And I saw some things that, man, I was ashamed to be a part of. No, I never did it. It was never asked of me to do it. I never had to do it. But some of these people that I will look up to, I see them doing these things that, in my head, I always thought, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a better way. Right. And eventually, that's what pushed me to go to Starmark, you know? Eventually, I was like, I got to learn something more. I got to learn from other people. I got to get out of this industry. So, but, you know, like you, I do agree that, you know, there are times, there are instances, you know, defensive handling, one of them. Dangerous situations, that's another one in which you have to be hard. Right. In some instances, I do believe that, you know, you got to drop the hammer a little bit. But, like, it should not be like, hey, man, we're going to do it this way every single time. We're going to do it this way every single time. Like, you find yourself in a situation like that, you go, well, we have to do it. Right? We had to do that. Now that we're past that, we got to think.
And I'll go on record right now. Like, if I picked up a dog by the collar, yes, I have one under my own roof. And I will go on record saying that. But guess what? The dog's coming at me. Has repeatedly bit me in the hand several times, and he's not stopping. What else am I going to do?
Yeah.
Right. And the dog, after, you know, I got him up off the ground and got him to calm down. And I didn't have to do anything where he passed out or anything like that. In one case, I tossed him out of the building in a fenced yard to give him a minute to calm down. But that dog was not injured or anything like that. But that was a situation. What else am I going to do? Stand there and let the dog chew me?
No, right? And with defensive handling, you got to do what you got to do.
Right. Yes, these big celebrity trainers, we'll call them that, the ones that have a YouTube and a Facebook presence that are acting like they have all the answers, that's their A game. That's all they know. They don't know any other way.
Yeah.
And my experience was, like, a lot of these trainers, too, to fix an issue of, say, aggression or something like that, what they're doing is setting up the dog and then just correcting the shit out of the dog. Excuse my language. But they haven't even explored that maybe this dog is acting entirely out of fear. That's what I mean. They predetermined the method before even seeing the dog, as opposed to saying, well, we have a toolbox of 5 different things. What's the least invasive thing we have? Does that work at all? Oh, geez, that's not going to work in a million years. Let's go to thing number 2 that's maybe a little bit more invasive. But no, they always go to thing number 5, and guess what? When thing number 5 doesn't work, they have nothing left.
Yeah.
And a lot of these dogs, you can suppress or shut down the behavior by a big correction, But then the dog figures out that the owner's not going to do the same thing.
Yeah.
And the dog's worse than ever with the owner because they know they can fight it out with the owner and win. Yeah. So the other big thing, and I just finished commenting on this yesterday, is for leash reactivity. Okay, dogs are leash reactive for different reasons. But if you have a dog that is reactive because it believes there's a high chance it might get in a fight and it wants to be big and scary and possibly scare off the other dog, right? It's doing it out of fear. Now, all of a sudden, so the dog feels fearful when it sees another dog in the distance. Now you're correcting the dog. What are you teaching the dog? You're teaching the dog that every time you see another dog, it's going to suck. Yeah. Right? You're either just going to feel your normal fear, or guess what? Might be your normal fear, and oh crap, I'm going to get the crap beaten out of me at the same time. Now, a lot of what I do, and it works with the vast majority of these pet dogs, again, let me qualify that, but I'm using a lot of, counter conditioning, and the dog may have a prong collar on, but I mean, I'm working at a long distance away from the dog, and I'm using these super light corrections, if you even want to call them that, and simply get the dog to look at me, that gets their mind off the other dog, and now they're getting a super high value food item, and after a while I can get in their head, oh, a dog appears, and I get food the best I've ever eaten in my life. Like, I'm not even getting this at home. And you know what? In 1 or 2 sessions, the majority of these dogs, I'm able to get them 5 feet away from other dogs.
Yeah. What I like to also add to that is obedience. If you look at aggression problems as an obedience problem, where you go, these things that are triggering you, they're distractions. Now, when you do get the correction, when we get to that point, the correction wasn't because you looked at a dog. It was because you didn't sit when I told you to sit. You didn't heel when I told you to heel. Right. What I find then is the correction is a lot more clear, easier to digest, and there's less chance of the dog associating that correction to the dog or to the trigger.
Right. Yeah. You're correcting the dog for not doing what you told it to do, and not for
Exactly. Yeah.
So my big thing though, like when I'm working with a reactive dog, I really don't like putting them in sits or downs. Like with all my clients, I need to say all because nothing's ever all or never. But what I like to do is use lots of movement. I'm keeping the dog moving so that they can't just sit there and ruminate.
But if you think about it, that could also be considered an incompatible behavior.
Yeah, of course it is.
Following you. Dog is following you, can't follow the trigger.
Right.
Following you,
Right. So, what I always tell people is I say, dogs are like men. We can't chew bubble gum and walk. Right? Okay. So you give the dog, like you said, incompatible behavior, and then, I can only focus on this right now. And at some point they realize, oh, geez, that other dog's right beside me. And he's been there the whole time. And somehow, it sounds stupid, but somehow that works. Now, again,
I've seen it work so many times.
Yeah. I used to be acquaintances or friends with a certain YouTube famous trainer once upon a time, and every second video he was, we have some serious aggression going on here, and we need to fix this because this is real serious. And one day I was talking to him on the phone. I said, have you ever had a dog that latched onto another dog or a person, and the only way they were going to let go was you had to choke them out? And he said, no. I said, well, you've never seen a truly aggressive dog, have you?
Right.
And then he was kind of silent.
Oh, yeah. Dude, like I told you, I've seen this dog tear his handler's cap right off.
Yeah. Well,
I had to pull him off. I had to pull him out. I had to peel that dog off the guy's cap.
I've seen the picture.
No, that dog is serious.
Right. And I don't believe, I don't disbelieve you for, even the first time I heard the story from you, I didn't disbelieve you for a single second, because you told me where the dogs were coming from and what they were being used for. So it's obvious that, you know, this isn't somebody's little furry little lap dog.
Exactly.
You know, I also, you know, I know these dogs exist because, again, I used to know people in the working world, and I'm sure the majority of dogs riding around in police cars today weren't as serious as those dogs, or aren't as serious as those dogs were.
Oh yeah, no. Some of the dogs that we had in Afghanistan were washouts because they were too hard. Yeah, some of these dogs are very extreme.
We were talking about before doing this new website along with the YouTube videos and blog and all of that. What I was going to say, again, people are tired of the same old nonsense over and over. Like, even you talking about some of the dogs you had in Afghanistan, like what we just mentioned, that is way more interesting than the typical rubbish that most of these people are putting out. You know, there's 10 million videos on how to do escape training.
Right.
But when people hear about what a dog, like what a rank dog is like, and they sort of realize that their dog is nothing like that, you know, you're actually helping a pet owner with your Afghanistan stories, because they begin to realize the scale and magnitude of things. Of, well, no, my dog, yeah, he bites, but then he's done with it, right? And then they kind of realize, yeah, maybe he's acting out of fear. Maybe he's not trying to control the entire house, but he's just acting out of fear in certain situations. And, but the language that people use is, you know, they do all this, I don't even know how to describe it, but it's very political in nature, where they go, you know what, we're controlling the state of mind. We're simply not allowing them to go into that fear state. You know, I don't know how people can make up this crap and believe it or say it with a straight face. What's even worse is that there's lots of people out there that believe it. You know, it's bad enough for somebody to say it, but then when you have countless people believing it, but
well, that's only because these things come from perceived authority figures. You know what I mean?
Right.
If you look up to someone and this person tells you, you know, this line, and either you look up to this person or people you look up to this person,
right,
then it has to make sense. Your brain has to make sense out of it, because you go, well, I don't know, that guy knows, so if he's saying it, that's going to make sense. People just don't question authority enough. They don't, you know, evaluate and assess statements, because, you know, people doubt themselves.